I remember the night as if it happened just yesterday. The moon was full, casting a silver glow over the village of Nyandebe. The air carried the scent of burning firewood mixed with the distant laughter of children playing in the evening. It was a night like any other, until the scandal that would be whispered about for years unfolded. Jabari was a man of great promise. A skilled farmer, he had inherited his father's lands and was known for growing the sweetest yams in the entire village. His wife, Achieng, was equally hardworking, a woman of grace and wisdom. They had 3 children, Nia, Keto, and little Amora. Their home was a place of warmth, where visitors always found food and a kind word. But as prosperity grew in Nyandebe, so did temptations. A modern nightclub had opened at the outskirts of the village, just beyond the river that marked the boundary between old traditions and the creeping influence of the city. It was called the Golden Palm, and it quickly became the gathering place for those seeking excitement after sundown. The beats of loud drums mixed with the new music that the younger men and women had taken a liking to. It was a place of bright lights, laughter, and stories of people returning home when the sun had long risen. Jabari had never been one for such things, but lately, something had changed in him. He had started staying out late, first claiming he was meeting with traders, then coming home smelling of palm wine and with his words slurred. Achieng watched in silence, hoping that it was just a passing phase. But soon, the night stretched longer, and the farm work began to suffer. One fateful evening, as the village prepared for sleep, Jabari told Achieng, "I will return soon. I have business to discuss." He kissed her lightly on the forehead and stepped out, dressed in his finest clothes. Achieng watched him go, her heart heavy with worry. But what choice did she have? A wife's duty was to support her husband. The night passed, and the rooster crowed to welcome the morning, but Jabari did not return. The children asked for their father, and Achieng lied, telling them he must have gone to visit his cousin in the neighboring village. But her heart knew better. Later that morning, an old woman, Mama Otto, who was known for her sharp tongue and watchful eyes, came knocking at Achieng's door. "Daughter," she said, shaking her head, "do you know where your husband is?" Achieng swallowed her pride. "No, Mama, do you?" Mama Otto clicked her tongue. "I passed by the Golden Palm at dawn. He was there, slumped on the ground like a sack of millet. His fine clothes were torn, and those city women were laughing at him. The man who once held his head high in this village is now a joke." Achieng felt the sting of shame deep in her chest, but she said nothing. Instead, she gathered a shawl around her shoulders and walked to the fields. There was work to do, and if her husband had abandoned his duties, she would not let their family starve. Days passed, and Jabari returned, hollow-eyed and ashamed. But instead of reproaching him, Achieng simply placed food before him and continued her work. The children, though hurt, ran to their father, embracing him as if he had never left. But the village was less forgiving. One evening, as the elders gathered under the baobab tree, Jabari approached them, his head bowed. "I have wronged my family and my people," he admitted. "I let myself be blinded by foolish pleasures, but I wish to make things right." The eldest among them, Baba Njoraj, studied Jabari for a long moment before speaking. "A man is not measured by the mistakes he makes but by how he repairs the damage." He turned to Achieng. "Daughter, will you forgive him?" Achieng looked at her husband, seeing not just the man who had abandoned her for the nightclub, but the man who had once stood proudly by her side, tilling the land and raising their children. She sighed. "Forgiveness is given, but trust must be earned." From that day, Jabari worked harder than before, waking before the sun and mending all that had broken. The whispers in the village died down, and slowly, respect was restored. But the lesson remained: no matter how bright the city lights, no place could ever shine brighter than a home filled with love and responsibility. And so, the story of Jabari was passed down through the years, not as a tale of shame, but as a warning and a lesson. The nightclub still stood, its music still called, but for those who remembered, they knew that some pleasures were never worth the cost.